A nation's armed forces show its strategic power. More than just size or reputation, what truly matters is who's prepared, who invests, and who dominates the skies, the land, and the sea. The Americas are a continent of contrasts, and its armed forces reflect that perfectly. Today, we'll be presenting the 10 most powerful armed forces in the Americas, from the most technologically advanced to the largest and most active. This isn't just a ranking based on budget, but a look at the true strength behind each flag. In 10th place, Uruguay. Uruguay may be one of the smallest countries on the continent, but that doesn't mean its military is weak. In fact, its army is known for its professionalism, discipline, and participation in international peacekeeping missions. With almost 25,000 active soldiers, its armed forces are focused on national defense and peacekeeping rather than offensive wars. Despite its limited resources, the country has invested in training and collaboration with organizations like the United Nations, sending troops to conflict zones in Africa and the Middle East. This has earned them a global reputation as a force for peace. Its air force and navy are small, but they play an important role in defense. Beyond numbers, Uruguay stands out for its military approach, which prioritizes prevention and international cooperation. Thanks to agreements with other countries, they receive training and technology from allies like the United States and European nations. In short, while not a military superpower in terms of size or spending, Uruguay is a model of efficiency, ethics, and commitment to using military force responsibly. A unique case in the Americas, which earns it a place in this ranking. Number 9, Ecuador. With a strategic location on the Pacific coast of South America, Ecuador has built a compact but well-organized military force. With around 45,000 active soldiers and over 180,000 reservists, the country has a powerful strike force, capable of responding quickly to threats, although the focus has always been on defense. In terms of equipment, Ecuador has invested in foreign technologies, mainly in air defense systems and mobile units. It has light tanks like the French AMX-13 and armored vehicles suitable for the country's mountainous terrain. Its air force includes aircraft like the Israeli Kafir, South African Cheetah light fighters, and multi-role helicopters capable of operating at high altitudes, a crucial aspect given its location in the Andes. The Ecuadorian Navy operates 2 submarines, as well as some frigates and corvettes for patrolling and coastal defense, particularly around the Galapagos Islands. Although not a military power, Ecuador has found a balance between budget, strategy, and operational efficiency. Its military spending is around $2 billion, which suggests continuous modernization efforts without excess. In short, Ecuador is an example of how a small country can maintain a respectable army, well-trained and adapted to its natural environment. Number 8, Venezuela. Venezuela is one of the most unique cases on the continent. Despite the serious economic and social crisis that the country has been going through for years, at least on paper, it has one of the largest and best-equipped armies in Latin America. The number of active soldiers exceeds 100,000, and the reserve forces reach almost 400,000 units. Although the real operational capacity of many of these units is questioned due to the lack of resources. During the oil boom, especially under the government of Hugo Chavez, the country invested billions in Russian, Chinese, and Belarusian military equipment. It has a considerable number of T-72 tanks, S-300 air defense systems, Sukhoi Su-30 fighter jets, and Mi-35 attack helicopters. However, the economic deterioration has made it difficult to maintain this equipment. The Air Force and the Navy have lost operational capacity in recent years. Many aircraft are grounded due to a lack of spare parts, and ships remain docked. Despite this, the government continues to allocate resources to the military sector as part of its policy of internal control and external deterrence. Within the framework of its policy of internal control and external deterrence, Venezuela is a potential military power, but with limited effectiveness due to the internal situation. Its position in the ranking is due more to its arsenal than to its immediate readiness capacity. Number 7, Argentina. Argentina has always been a major military power in South America, but its military has had its ups and downs in recent decades, kind of like the country's economy. Right now, the country has about 75,000 active soldiers and more than 30,000 in reserve. Their army has over 400 tanks, including some they designed and built, like the TAM, which stands for Tanque Argentino Mediano. It's a tank that they've been upgrading to keep it in fighting shape. They also have tank destroyers like the SK-105, which they got from Austria. The Argentine Air Force isn't as strong as it used to be after they retired a lot of their Mirage jets, but they still have a bunch of trainer and light attack planes. They've been talking to countries like South Korea and China about buying new fighter jets, but they haven't signed any deals yet. The Argentine Navy has submarines, destroyers, and support ships, but they're having a tough time keeping everything running. Fighting in the Falklands War, Guerra de las Malvinas, taught them some hard lessons that they still use in their military planning today. With a military budget of almost $3 billion, Argentina is trying to balance defending its own country with being a strong presence in the region. They're focusing on upgrading their equipment and making sure their armed forces are the best trained they can be. Number 6, Peru. In recent years, Peru has been steadily modernizing its armed forces. They want to strengthen their national defense and become a regional power. The country has about 120,000 active soldiers and over 270,000 reservists. This makes it one of the largest armed forces in South America. Peru's army has T-55 tanks from Russia. These tanks are older, but Peru has upgraded them. They have also acquired armored vehicles and are in talks with Russia to get T-90 tanks, which are some of the most modern tanks in the world. Their air force has a variety of aircraft, including MiG-29S, Mirage 2000s, and light attack aircraft like the Sukhoi Su-25. They also have a large number of helicopters for transport and reconnaissance missions. The Peruvian Navy operates in the Pacific with 7 frigates, submarines, and corvettes. This gives them a strong presence in maritime defense. Their military budget is around $2.5 billion. They are constantly investing to maintain their operational capacity. Peru is clearly focused on technological modernization. They are also focused on training their personnel and international cooperation. Number 5, Colombia. Colombia has developed one of the most active and specialized armed forces on the continent, shaped mainly by the internal conflict that has lasted for over 50 years. Currently, it has more than 450,000 men in active service, including personnel from the Army, the military police, and other forces. The Colombian Army is one of the most well-trained in Latin America, with real combat experience in guerrilla warfare and special operations. Although it does not have many tanks due to the country's mountainous and jungle geography, it compensates for this limitation with an impressive fleet of helicopters, including American Black Hawks. These are used for both transport and offensive operations in hard-to-reach areas. In the air, Colombia has Israeli-made Kefir and Brazilian Embraer jets, which, although not state-of-the-art, are effective for tactical operations. In the naval field, Colombia has registered remarkable growth in recent years, surpassing Mexico as the most powerful maritime force in Latin America, with more than 230 ships in its inventory. Its military budget is almost $12 billion, which reflects the priority given to national security. Colombia is consolidating itself as a regional power in terms of operational capabilities, training, and military cooperation. Number 4, Mexico. Mexico has one of the largest and most complex armed forces in Latin America in terms of personnel, size of its territory, and its geopolitical role. With over 260,000 active soldiers and 67,000 reservists, the military structure is mainly focused on fighting internal threats such as drug trafficking, but it also has the ability to handle conventional operations. Unlike other countries, Mexico does not have tanks, but it makes up for this with a large number of light and medium armored vehicles, which ensures high mobility in urban and rural actions. The Air Force has over 600 aircraft, including advanced training and light attack models, such as the Pilatus PC-7 and the T-6 Texan II. It also has interceptor fighters and surveillance drones. The Mexican Navy is one of the most powerful in the continent, with over 140 vessels, including frigates, corvettes, ocean patrol vessels, and logistical support ships. In recent years, the Navy has intensified its presence in the Gulf of Mexico and the Pacific Ocean. The Mexican defense budget is around $7 billion a year. The functions of the armed forces are not limited to just protecting the territory. They also play an active role in civil protection missions, provide relief in the event of natural disasters, and support the population, which makes them a fundamental institution for the Mexican state. Number 3, Canada. Even though it's known as a peaceful and diplomatic country, Canada has one of the most technologically advanced armed forces on the continent. With around 90,000 active soldiers and 50,000 reservists, it's not about how big their army is, but the quality of their equipment. their professionalism, and their strategic role within NATO. The Canadian Army uses Leopard 2A4 tanks, bought from Germany and specially upgraded for Canada's environment. These vehicles are considered among the best in the world. The Royal Canadian Air Force has over 400 aircraft, including CF-18 Hornet fighter jets, C-130 Hercules transport planes, and long-range reconnaissance systems. In recent years, Canada has announced plans to add the new F-35 fifth-generation fighter jets, which will further increase their technological advantage. As for their Navy, Canada has a presence in 3 oceans: the Atlantic, the Pacific, and the Arctic. Their fleet includes modern frigates, submarines, and destroyers, although their numbers are limited compared to the size of their waters. Canada's defense budget is over $20 billion, and it's increasing due to rising global tensions. Their actions aren't limited to North America. They actively participate in international missions, contributing to global security. Number 2. Brazil. Brazil is undoubtedly the biggest military power in Latin America, not only because of the size of its armed forces, but also because of its continuous investments in technological development and modernization. With over 330,000 active soldiers and almost 2 million in reserve, Brazil has a military force capable of competing with countries outside the region. Its army has more than 480 tanks, including German-made Leopard 1 and 2 models, in addition to a considerable fleet of domestically produced armored vehicles. The Brazilian Air Force is the largest in Latin America, with more than 700 aircraft in its inventory. Of note is the recent acquisition of Swedish-Brazilian Gripen E fighters, which represent a leap forward in technology and combat capability. The Brazilian aeronautical industry, led by Embraer, also produces transport, training, and maritime patrol aircraft. In the naval field, Brazil maintains a significant presence with frigates, submarines, and logistical support ships. Despite recently decommissioning its aircraft carrier São Paulo, it has started building a new nuclear submarine, becoming the first country in Latin America to master this technology. Its military budget is around $30 billion, the largest in the region. Brazil is establishing itself as a strategic player seeking autonomy and global projection. Number 1. The United States. The United States holds the top spot in this ranking, and it's not even close. They are the world's biggest military superpower, with capabilities that surpass not only every country in the Americas, but also the rest of the world combined. They have over 1.2 million active duty soldiers and more than 800,000 reserve personnel, spread across their different branches: the Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard. Their arsenal includes more than 14,000 combat aircraft, including fifth-generation fighters like the F-22 Raptor and the F-35 Lightning II. On land, they have over 8,000 tanks and a wide range of cutting-edge armored vehicles. At sea, their fleet consists of 11 active aircraft carriers, over 70 submarines, including nuclear-powered ones, and hundreds of destroyers, frigates, and assault ships. Their military presence is global, with bases and operations in more than 53 countries. The United States also possesses the world's most advanced nuclear arsenal, as well as space, satellite, and cyber defense systems. They are also the world's leading arms exporter, which further increases their geopolitical influence. The annual budget of the Department of Defense exceeds $850 billion, a figure higher than the spending of the next 10 nations on the list combined. The United States leads the ranking not only in terms of quantity, but also in technological capability, global reach, and advanced military doctrine. Military power isn't always obvious, but it shapes the world more than we realize. Each country on this list has earned its place, whether through its troops, technology, history, or strategy. Some dominate the present, while others prepare for the future. And even when war isn't the goal, preparation for it never stops. Until next time, with more analysis and data that few dare to reveal.